师，还有正在观看直播的英雄联盟的玩家，听到你们的欢呼声。这里是上海梅赛德斯奔驰文化中心，无限可能，无限热爱。英雄联盟8周年狂欢盛典大幕已经拉开，今天是我们盛典的第3天，在过去的2天，我们共同见证了很多激动人心的瞬间和片刻。 但是却让自己的内心到现在依然有热血沸腾、心跳不止的感觉。我们看到了 LPL 历史上第8支冠军战队的诞生，而同时也在昨天目睹了5杀的经典瞬间。今天这一片舞台将会诞生最后一张通往 S9全球总决赛的荣耀。在此之前，我们将会有一场意义特殊的比赛。 在这片舞台进行，那也就是英雄联盟云顶之弈的全民争霸赛。上一周，来自8大平台的16位云顶高手，通过分组半决赛的激烈角逐，今天有8位高手将会在这片周年庆的舞台决出高下。究竟他们运筹帷幄，谁能登上云顶之巅？让我们一起期待8位小小英雄和我们见面。 欢迎虎牙狮心狂乱，欢迎网鱼阿乐，欢迎斗鱼空门，欢迎虎扑阿耀，企鹅电竞叶大猫子。 欢迎哔哩哔哩圆圆，下一位是斗鱼小泽，以及虎扑辣条。现在我宣布，英雄联盟云顶之弈全民争霸赛正式开始。
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the LPL. My name is Matt Niberia Clendano, joined here by the lovely Clement Chu. And Clement, we get to kick off the last day here in the Mercedes-Benz Arena with our own inaugural TFT tournament. This is the finals of the TFT Open here in China.
Yeah, the Open Finals has been going on for multiple months now. It's been a big experimentation on how to run a TFT tournament and how you present it to the fans. I'm super excited to cast it right here, and we have to go through some of the basics of what this tournament is about.
Yeah, because of course we do have later, we're going to have the decision on the 3rd seed to Worlds, but that's not yet. Of course, like you said, we have the TFT tournament. Now, this is the final match right now. It's a best of 1. So everyone has to find the points they need. They need to get this. This is their last stand. This is the only chance they have to get the victory.
Everyone knows that TFT is a game where a lot of RNG is involved into it. So it is based on a point system rather than just, okay, whoever wins finals gets the main prize. So some of these players will be looking for safer strategies, trying to get in that top 4, while other players with lower points, well, unfortunately for them, they will have to go for risk it for the biscuit type of strategies. I just want to point out that the way these invites were, actually the ways these competitors were chosen was that each streaming platform was given slots, and it was a competitive bracket all the way towards the top. So unlike yesterday's TFT show match, which was purely based on invites, these guys actually did prove their mettle through a tournament structure. These are the best of the best out of all the potential contestants that could have played.
Like you said, it's the best of the best here for TFT, but you mentioned an important point going forward into this match, which is that some of these players, they're just going to be playing for top 4. Now, there's a lot of difference in between playing for top 4 in solo queue just so you go to the next rank and playing for top 4 competitively versus going for a strategy that if it wins out, it's going to win big. What do you think is the best strategy for just going that Hail Mary?
Okay, if I'm going for the Hail Mary strategy, basically what it means that I might want to roll quite often earlier on just to see if I can push my luck, get those key units earlier on. Well, if I'm going for, you know, if I'm already just aiming for top 4, I'm probably not looking for a lot of rerolls. I'm just getting all the 2-stars I can on the board and maybe trying to level early, and you know, whatever 4-star unit I get first, maybe I pivot off of that. That's kind of the standard way to play the game. You're not going to do open forting, let's say, if you only want top 4. Like, that's a very risky strategy to go for. So we're going to see these differences in strategies really play out. And I think we should talk about the meta a little bit to show everyone what's on the table, because we will be playing on 9.16b. The Chinese servers have not moved to 9.17, so there's no crazy Pantheon that's been the nightmare of everyone these days. The comps do look a bit different.
Guardians is no longer the way to go just because, hey, Pantheon exists. Let's slap that in there, baby. This is the patch 9.16b. This is where Nobles, Voids, Brawlers, things like that are still at the forefront. Nobles didn't get that huge hit, no longer down 10 armor and MR, back up to 35 on hit healing. So they have a lot of strength still left in them. Void as well, just to counter that. Morel and Omicron, still an incredibly strong item in the meta as well.
Yeah, if you look across the comps, I would say the standout would be the Demon comps. That's been pretty much what everyone has been going for. You have the Demon Gnar comp as kind of the, you know, I hit the top roll type of composition, which is you get your 6 demons, you turn Gnar into a demon, and then you have the 2 sorcerer Yordles of Lulu and who is that? Vigar with Gnar, so you get an extra synergy in that as well. That's kind of the highest priority composition we have right now. And the other ones I would be saying are Void Assassins. Void Assassins are very prominent. You turn your Kassadin or your Rek'Sai into Assassin. You run 6 Assassins. That's kind of a very strong early game composition, so you're not going to lose a lot of HP. Very easy to go for. And then for the third comp, I think a lot of people have been going Shapeshifters. You know, Shapeshifters, even though on 9.17 has been rising up quite a lot, it's also very prominent in 9.16b. We see Zoo Shapeshifters with double dragons. You get magic immunity. It's great against demons because they can't really touch you. And there's a lot of champions that people don't really use, like Nidalee, Jace. Those guys are just free pickups. Anytime you see them, they're not very contested.
Right, because who's going to pick up a Jace unless you're going for Shapeshifters? Even the Shapeshifters, they're like, as soon as they find anything else, they're like, goodbye, get out of here. I hate you. This is the worst.
Your time is up.
Yeah. Get out of here, Jace. You had your moment. It's over. But that's one of the interesting things that we have going here on still being on 9.16b. We're going to see a meta evolve that the other servers really didn't get to have.
It's really interesting to see a server like take a same patch beyond 2 weeks, because you see a lot of gimmicky stuff start to surface as well. Recently, something that's been blowing up across a lot of streamer guys has been the glacial graves. You go 6 glacials, you turn graves into a glacial, and it's actually a really good composition. It destroys the Zoo Transformer comp, because these guys need a lot of start time, and you're just not giving it to them. You're turning their entire comp into ice.
Yeah, and this was before they were talking about the Graves changes to counter his spread and bring it narrower. So they've still got that AoE freeze. And that's one of the unique things we're going to be coming into with. We need to keep an eye out for those compositions because they're hard to call. But of course, here's the rules and regulations. Now, Clement, why don't you run us through this, because none of us can read it.
So these are the platforms the contestants are being selected from, and down, this is the most important, the points you get. So 8th place, 0 points, but if you get first, that is a 10-point victory that you're going to be collecting right there. And you can see the point distribution all the way from 8th up towards the 10th place mark. So there is a bit of a drop off between 1 and 2, but not really that much between 4th and 7th. So if you need to jump over your opponents, you're really looking for that 2-point bracket that starts to happen between 4th place and 1st place.
Yeah, you really need to. So that's, I mean, everyone should be going for a top 4 composition at this point. Obviously, no one's going to be playing to lose, but at a certain point, you need to consider, can you play safe? And you need to look, I think, at whoever's going to be the leader in the leaderboards. Because if they're going to try hard for that 1st place, suddenly that controls what everyone else can do. It's like, if he actually nails this, we're all out.
And now we're going to be seeing our contestants on stage. There should be 2 contestants from most of their streaming platforms. Oh, but it's not actually an equal distribution. We're seeing 2 from Douyu, 2 from Hoopu, and 1 from Bilibili, 1 from Huya, 1 from Penguin as well. Now, I just want to point out that these are not your most famous streamers necessarily, but these are your most competitive ones.
Of course, we have the leaderboard up here. Number 1 going to be at 7.7 plates. So, if you look at this, the importance is it's not a 2-point lead against anyone. So, it's anyone's game in the top 4 at the very least, because you have 3 people tied there for 2nd at 6 points. So this is going to be a very, very tight match. We're going to see a lot of people going incredibly hard for those 1st place compositions instead of looking for those top 4, because that might not be enough. And of course, here's the champion drop rates by level. It's unfortunate because I spent like 2 hours yesterday memorizing this exact chart. They're just like, hey, here it is. But of course, an important thing that comes into this game later is how many of each unit you have. Because if you're going for something like you said, the Void Assassins, it's important to get that 3-star Kassadin. well, multiple people can get that.
Now, what's most important about this chart is really when do you want to roll for which tier unit. For tier 2s, you want to roll at 6. That's your highest shot. And at tier 4s, most of the times you want to hit level 7 before you're really rolling down for them. And especially for tier 5 champions, hitting 9 is incredibly important. You double your chances to get a potential Yasuo, a potential Swain. So you see a lot of that in endgame situations where someone might have already finished their Noble comp, they're going Noble Blade Masters, and they want an extra Swain or an extra Yasuo. A lot of times it is recommended to hit level 9.
Going into the game itself, though, I want to watch for that level 6 breakpoint, because not only is this where you want to start making your compositions, but there are those cases, of course, where someone just gets a lucky level 5 unit, and it's just like, oh, I just picked up a Kale.
Yeah, exactly. Level 6 Kales are the bane of my life. I hate it when players get that.
We hit one literally earlier today. When you came in to sit down and play, I was just like, hey, I just found a Kale. Are we going Nobles?
It's just so damn unfair, but that is the nature of the game. It is very heavily RNG based, and we are going into the selection. Currently in the patch, BF Swords are the #1 pick priority. You get into Assassins very easily with it, and also you get into Demons, who really require that GA to hold up their front line. So I would say whoever started out with that Lissandra BF Sword is currently in the lead.
It's also frustrating at a certain point, because if you end up getting something you don't want, you suddenly have to think about what compositions you can work into, and especially these 3 minion rounds, as a player, incredibly frustrating if it doesn't go your way.
Yeah.
You can just get gold.
I would say the best start in these minion rounds is typically to get 4 items right off the bat. Because that, if you're lucky, you get 2 really good items. You don't really need to think about, you know, open forwarding or trying to lose HP on purpose. A lot of times you can go straight forward into picking up whatever's strong and building off those items. So we're going to be looking at who gets that 4-item roll. But most of the times, the most common start you see is 1 extra item and then 3 extra gold, which, in my opinion, kind of sucks.
It hurts, man, because it's just like, all right, well, I have almost nothing to work with. One of the important things, though, that you mentioned, some of these players are just going to be tanking the first few rounds to get to the bottom of the carousel. Now, one of the compositions that you already brought up that uses this is the Void Assassin, because you need that Cassidy as the assassin, or you have to pivot out of it.
Void Assassin, you can only take top spot if you get all 6 Assassin, and typically requires you to get the Spatula and get an Assassin item on the board. So what you see a lot of players doing when they're going for that comp is they will purposely lose their first couple of rounds, get down, pick up more BF Swords, make sure they can turn their Cassidy or their Rek'Sai into Assassin to improve their chances. Now, we are seeing here from Teng Tiao, he is going to start with a fairly strong kind of noble opener here. He does have the potential makings of going Gunslingers and Blade Masters, which is actually a pretty decent comp. You can fulfill your composition at 7 units earlier on, so it's pretty damn strong. And if nobody's going for it, no one picks up Tristana these days, then you actually have a pretty good chance of actually just getting a top 3 win.
Yeah, and Teng Tiao already has the workings of a Shiv. He's got both the tier and the recurve bow, so if he really wants to go in for this early game, oh, wow.
Oh, that's a lucky Evelynn draw. Evelynn, I would say, was probably the strongest tier 3 unit and a very vital unit in terms of a demon composition. So you're seeing the good makings here. No one is going to pass up on that Evelynn early on. It's just not possible. And he's got such a good start. 5 items to go. Wow.
But look at the person in second to last. They've already got a Spatula and they have a recurve bow. If they wanted to, they could turn that into a Blade of the Ruin King and go for early Gunslinger Blade Master. It's not as strong as it's going to be on patch 9.17, of course, but when you luck out in items like that, can go your way.
Look at this. Yeah, he's going to go in hard for this one. And most likely thinking about the potential Morellonomicon early. Very good, since there are a lot of nobles early, and that healing deduction really helps. Now, remember this is 16-point B, so it is 100% full healing deduction.
Right.
Very good early on.
Especially going back to the person with the 5-item, I believe it's Ala.
Yep, Ala.
Nice.
It's important for him
not the top laner from OMG.
No, definitely not. It is important to remember because he isn't in the top 5 just yet, so he does need to get more points. So this is a perfect setup for him to consider going even further on. Now, we did see him hovering the Morellonomicon, but he did decide against it, wanted to see his opponent's hands first, and it looks like it wasn't necessary. So you will see a lot of players on the first round of 2-1 do this. It's basically, if they can win the match, then there's no need to commit your items yet.
And he's gotten so lucky with the items he has to start. He has 3 choices to get the items for an Eve carry composition, because that is one of the most common demon compositions. Want to get her a Gunblade, want to get her a Dragon's Claw, get her the GA so she can just pop off with those ultimates in the backline. He has 1 component for each item. So if he gets lucky enough with the carousel in the Krugs round, he might just have a fully stacked Eve coming out of the gate.
Ooh, big choice here. He does have a good card selection for the Demons, for the Assassin composition, but he's already committed to Knights on his board, so it's not going to go full in onto that one just yet. And you can see these players are constantly checking what's on the board. A lot of times steering is the most important thing. You want to avoid comps that are being heavily contested.
That's one of the problems that you're going to run into, especially when you get to that level 5, level 6 area. That's when you need to start locking in your composition. So by then, you want to make sure no one else is running what you are.
So we're seeing Coleman right here. He does have 6 points total and is in a good place for, you know, just taking the entire championship. If you take first here, that's 2 points above everyone else. That will secure you and leapfrog you into the first place position. We are seeing some good kiting from the Lucian, but he will fall down. And unfortunate right here. I think in the early game, if you get your Noble buff on the frontline champion, it's just so much better than a backline.
Because you can just pound away as much as you want in that front line. It is never going to die. Oh, that's 2 Varuses here. Don't think he has the items for it, but potential pivot.
Yep, and we are seeing the start of a Zoo comp coming in here. Now, we know the Zoo comp is very, very good against against the demon type of compositions. You have magic immunity if you put your Aurelian Soul in there as well. But right now he is lacking the Nidalee. Typically the Nidalee, a strong Nidalee early game is what you want for a Zoo comp. So this isn't necessarily the best start. He is going to have to kind of play with whatever he's given, and you're going to see him shift that GA around quite a bit.
I'm enjoying his decision making there though, because one of the most important, one of the strongest units is just a Poppy. You see it this early, it's just like, all right, screw it. That ultimate is so powerful, it knocks someone out of commission and does so much damage, 250 at level 1. It's just ridiculous.
It's really, really strong. GA in this patch is still one of the strongest items you can get earlier on. So if you're just going for a win streak, then pick up the GA, meld the GA, use the GA as soon as possible. And it's also very transferable. You can just put it on the tankiest unit you have. I think Poppy's a great fit right here, and you can see him trounce over. Buys him enough time to get all of his transformations in. And second carousel round, I will be following Coleman just a little bit more. I feel like he has a very good shot at reaching one of the top spots right here. And I do wish we had the item selection here on our left. So we are currently looking at Aya, who is within the top 4. He actually is the top player in terms of point standings right now. And he did select for himself a...
bow?
I believe it's a rod, actually. Yeah, it's a rod.
On the bottom of the screen.
Yep.
Of course, it's going to be very hard to tell exactly where they're going with these until we see them combined on the board. But important to update, Ala has finally combined that into the Morellonomicon, so maybe giving up the Evelyn carry strategy.
Oh, it's still definitely necessary. I mean, in most demon compositions, you don't want the Varus anyway, so you do tend to see the Morellonomicon being handed over to the brand later on. And Varus is just kind of a stand-in. You just hold it on. So you're seeing
exactly like that.
Yep, you're seeing Ayal basically do that as well. When you're thinking about demons, you typically cut the Varus and then you go for the full 6 demons. You do want your Nard to be your final demon. So a lot of times the Varus will just play that carrier role. Oh, and that Morgana hit was absolutely
so lucky.
big. Yes, so most times demon compositions are tied into sorcerers. Most of your demons are ability damage based. So getting that 4 demon and 3 sorc is incredibly important, and Morgana is your bridge unit. Morgana is a sorcerer herself, also a demon, so it allows you to pivot into that comp.
Take a look at that Lucian item though. That's a spatula plus. Is he gonna go double Blade Master maybe with it?
Yeah, so the Gunslinger Blade Master comp is something I really like. It's 4 Gunslingers into 3 Blade Masters, and you can get that at 6, basically. So very early on, it's a heavy reroll composition. He's not committing to it just yet, but he does have the makings for it already.
Coleman, though, maybe committing to this Rangers
no,
already.
This is not a Rangers comp. This is completely a bluff. This is going to be most likely transitioning into a Draven, but of course you can't really hit a Draven. You can hit it at level 5, but the chances are, you saw it, it's only 3%. So he's basically subbing in the Varus. He's taking away from the demon compositions and waiting until that Draven actually hits. So, you know, the Draven transitions, you can go Draven, Imperial 4 Knights, or you can just go with the what I would call the higher role, basically the Nobles into 3 Blade Masters. I really like that comp because it opens you up in the late game to great tier 5 units. You can put the Swain and the Yasuo on.
One of my favorite things is Draven is just one of those strong Hail Mary units where it's like, if I just find one, I'm fine. I just need a Draven. I just need And it doesn't look like it's enough.
And this is really unfortunate because there's a Draven sitting right across Coleman. Now, Coleman is one of our top 4 players, so we will have to be tracking him to see if he gets to the finals. And right now we're seeing Xiaozi, who's not one of our top 4. He's going to go for a... This is a pretty risky comp for him to go for. Excuse me, his opponent to go for, because we saw the Zoo without the Nidalee going early on. And at least he is hitting his Gangplanks. So that's something good for him. We also see him holding on to the Braum. So what he could be thinking at is the 8-unit composition, which would be the 4 Gunslingers, 3 Blade Master, and then you throw the Guardian pair into it to fill out your 8th comp. That's a pretty strong comp, and honestly, you don't need to wait for the Leona. The Braum itself is a pretty good tank earlier on, and if you hit the Leona early, you could just switch out the Mordekaiser.
No, I'm guessing this second spatula that he's got sitting here is also going to be a Blade of the Ruin King just to pop off and put on someone else.
Yeah, you could potentially go for the 9 Blade Master comp. I haven't seen a lot of people
I'm
do
hoping
that.
for it, man.
Most people stop
Jinx
at 6.
Jinx is out. Jinx is out. You can do it without one more spatula. That's all I'm saying.
And to be fair, this patch, Jinx isn't that contested because her attack speed did get nerfed earlier on. So Draven, I would say, is still the best tier 4 carry. In terms of like dealing 80 damage. Of course, if we were going for a magic comp, then Brand is the best, but Jinx is actually pretty easy to pick up. You don't see a lot of contests for Jinx, and even for the noble compositions, I would rate the Draven still the superior unit. But right now, he is keeping his options quite open. You can see that we were looking at Xiaozi there. He is keeping his options open for a potential noble composition as well, and this is when you see most people start to roll down, getting around Krugs, hitting level 6. You want to solidify your composition, so most people will expend all of their savings. There's no one really far ahead enough where they're going like, you know what, I don't need to roll. Everyone is rolling here.
Yeah, everyone's rolling, but the person in the upper left is the one with the most economy. They seem like they're sitting happy, but everyone else except bottom right has rolled all the way down below 10. Looks like some selling has been going on, but that Morgana is stacked, and a Jinx in the backline as well.
Yeah, so getting a Morgana
Draven
with the GA early on is just so damn powerful. Even if Morgana dies within the GA, the tether still stays. And the same with Swain, it's the same with Kennen. So basically your HP bar doesn't matter when you get the GA. You're always going to get a full channel ultimate. So that's why it's so powerful. And you often see demon compositions just survive far past what their board strength actually is. If you, what I mean by board strength is how much gold is actually on their board. A lot of times demons can punch above their weight just because of the item combination in Morgana. We're seeing kind of, this is Yuan Yuan, who is within the top 4. He's actually 2nd place right now in the standings. He is going to go for a Zoo composition, and we see the 3-star Nidalee. Okay, this is super important. Now, 3-star Nidalee is one of the best hyper carry champions in the game. When she transforms, she has a base AD of 300. So we've seen a lot of people actually put infinity edges on their Nidalee.
She hits hard.
Yeah, she hits really hard. And she also has the wild buff to go with it, 60% extra attack speed. She's going to hit that 2.5 cap relatively early on. And this is what I was saying about the Zoo composition. The most important thing is you have to roll down for one of those 3-star Nidalees. That's one of the reasons I don't really like going Zoo a lot of times. I'm not a roll person. If you don't hit it, a lot of times it's not your fault and you will lose early on. But if you do, like Yuan Yuan, who's already in the top 2, he's having a great chance to actually just make it to the top position.
Now, what do you think he's going to do with that chain vest there? Is it just going to be a GA at this point? Because I don't feel like there are many really offensive options.
It's GA or red buff. Those are the 2 major options you see people building on their Nidalees these days. Red buff is still very important. You know, a lot of times you are going to go against, like we were talking about, NARs or you know, GAs from other people, and the red buff does reduce the healing there. So
maybe a Void Sork too.
Yep. Void Sork is an uncontested but still very strong composition. The only problem about Void Sork and why not a lot of people are building it these days is you do lose out to demons, you do lose out to assassins early on, so you are typically dropping a lot of HP. And we can see this time from Aya, who's currently in the 1st place in terms of point standings. He is going for this comp. It's a very steady composition and not very contested, so I do like this idea coming from him. However, if he does want to you know, if he does want to take 1st place, he still basically needs to aim for 1st place, which is something he should consider. Because if you think about the point standings, he's only 1.7 points ahead of everyone else, and whoever gets 1st place, that's a 2-point edge over 2nd place.
He could potentially just be knocked down to 4th, or even lower if everyone else places above him. So still needs to be very careful at this point. But he's sitting in a pretty good position. Now, another spatula available on the Ashe as well. So if you Rangers is not very highly contested here, but you could get a Runen's Hurricane off this.
Oh boy. So Rangers is one of those compositions that I don't really go into unless all the pieces are there. Unless somehow I'm dealt like 3 Varses. And the thing about Rangers is it's a clumped up comp. Hex Tech destroys you. Demon Nars destroy you.
Right.
A lot of things are very anti-Glacial Rangers these days. So it's not a comp that you see a lot of people go into. I know the Korean server loves it, but I think there's a lot of prerequisites for it. You really need that GA onto the Sejuani. You really need everything to go well for you to go into that composition. Now, we are switching away, going back to Ale, who is actually not in the top 4.
Oh, wow, he hit a Karthus.
Oh,
3-4, and he hits a Karthus in a Void Sork composition that he's transitioned to, or Demon Sork, rather.
Yeah, this could be a Demon Sork. A lot of times we do see that people will go for the Poppy if it's more open, and you still get the Yordle composition later on instead of the Gnar. So he's shaping up into a very strong Demon Sork comp, and he has the good econ to go with it. Actually, he's never dropped any points whatsoever. That's just the strength of a early Evelynn. Evelynn with Demon is just so disgusting early on. You hit that 2 Demon, and her ult only takes 75 mana to activate. However, you're going against Zoo, and we did say that Zoo is the stock standard counter to Demons these days.
That is disgusting. That Nidalee is just absolutely decimating, which is so sad because you find a Karthus that early, you're like, all right, I have the items, we're good.
Yeah, and the problem with Demons versus the Transformer Zoo comp these days is not just about the magic immunity that you get later on. It's also about the fact that Demon comps just don't have a lot of sustained damage. They're more about periodic burst, and once Transformers change, you can't really take down the 3-star Nidalee. If she gets the full 6, she's sitting at 3,300 HP, and that takes a lot of Karthus ults to burn through.
That's going to be a stacked Graves there, it looks like. 3-star already acquired, but I'm not sure how I feel about this one, Clement, because I've seen it on solo queue a little bit with the RFC. It gives you that bullet spread. Oh, it got phantoms.
Unlucky. Goodbye.
F's in the chat.
Pay your respects. So he's going to go for the Gunslinger comp that we were talking about. I told you that, you know, Gunslinger, Pirates, it typically ends out at 7. You want the, you really need the Pike as well for some crowd control. And this is a Nidalee that could go 1v4.
1v4, the Nidalee's just going to do it. 3-star Nidalee at 3-5. Kongmin is just sitting pretty, already above 40 gold. When does he stop winning?
Yeah, it's going to be a long time. This is a good marking for a Zoo composition. I can't believe he hit that Nidalee 3. You know, he started without any Nidalees.
Right.
He hard rolled for those Nidalees.
So strength, if you hard roll early, though, it's so much stronger than hard rolling late because you have that time to beef up your economy as well. Is that a 3-star Elise, too?
Yes, that's a 3-star Elise. So
all right,
the great thing about this comp and why it's so good in a demon-infested meta is that you take away a lot of champions from them as well. The Elise is still critical for them because they're looking to go Transformers in the late game as well, far stronger than Elementals. So a lot of times, just by going Zoo itself, you are already countering the Demon player. And this is a pretty damn good draw. This is not going to happen every game, boys and girls. Like, if you do this, there's a very high chance you get stuck on a 2-star Nidalee.
Well, that's one of the strengths of going a composition that has, of course, we're going to see everyone rolling down, but one of the strengths of having a composition that relies on 1-star, 1 cost units, you can find those 3-stars so much easier because there's just so many more.
Yeah, it's definitely the case. Like, Nidalee is just one of those underrated champions. People don't really think about her stats, and if you could just see how she 1v4'd, she was doing 210 attack damage and at max attack speed. That's actually insane. So I really like this composition. I play the Zoo comp quite a bit, but I haven't been as lucky.
Right.
Wow, this is unfortunately for Sixing Quangluan. He does have another competitor going for the Gunslinger comp as well, so he's not getting as much efficiency out of his rolls. He still will win this one. Typically, the most important item in a Gunslinger comp like this one will be the Hush, and you actually want 2 Hushes with this comp. We already see one being built, I believe,
on the Tristana.
Yep, on the Tristana. So he's still in a good place, and these 3-star Pikes.
That 3-star Pike just carried him so hard.
Yep.
That's one of the things. If you can find that 3-star, if you know what you're looking for, and can get it that early, which is one of the strengths of hard forcing a composition, they can just save you so hard. But right now, feels like he doesn't really have a whole lot of strengths in his composition. He's running double Tristana.
Yeah, he really needs that one extra Tristana to make it the 3-star. That's going to buff up his comp a lot, going to allow him to transition into the Guardians easier. But right now his problem is that he's running on no econ and very little HP, so doesn't have a lot of room to maneuver. Oh, there we go. Oh my god.
Oh man, that Aatrox is scary. Oh man.
Wow.
Against Kongman too, so we'll see how this ends up going.
The only thing he lacks right now is really those sorcerers. Oh man, he almost put that on the Camille, but good save right there. So why is Demon Gnar so powerful? He transforms at 100 mana, and the Demon Spatula gives you 40 mana to start off. You get 30 mana after each auto attack with the 4 demon composition. So in 2 auto attacks, you could transition and push everyone away. Unfortunately for him, he's missing a lot of critical pieces in the demon composition. Doesn't have the 2-star Evelynn or the Morgana yet. And we're gonna go back to Yuan Yuan, who's playing the Zoo comp. This seems to be the front-running player in terms of board strength. Oh, that's a hyper stack Yasuo early on. Woo.
Yeah, there were some pretty good rolls this game.
Yeah,
and I'm just gonna say that right now.
I gotta say, I really like what Coleman has done here. I'm sorry, Allah has done right here, because Allah has recognized that there are no assassin players. No assassin players actually makes the Void Sork comp very powerful early on. It's very difficult for people to just outright kill your Sorks over your Cho'Gaths. And we're probably gonna be paying more attention to Damals right here, just because he is potentially going out in one of these rounds. Actually, it might happen right now. 3-star Graves doing the work.
Just does not have the strength. Not having the GA on the Gnar as well. That redemption just isn't going to do enough. So he's going to get knocked out, and that's our first elimination so far. 8th place for him.
Yeah, really unlucky. Even though he did get the Demon Gnar, I think the Demon pieces didn't come from him. No 2-star Evelynn really hurts. No Morgana rolls.
2 spatulas in the 4th carousel.
Wow, okay, so...
All right.
Is anyone going to be picking up a potential Force of Nature? Yeah, we do see Xiaozi with the potential for Force of Nature. The comp doesn't really call for it, so what it means is that if he wants to go for the Spatula, it could mean a potential trek into even more Blade Masters.
There he goes. Going to pick up the Spatula there, so that's going to be Force of Nature on that Lucian, which is a little bit unfortunate, but at the very least, he will get the extra unit out of it, and that is so strong, especially with the composition that requires you to roll so much.
So the problem here is that most of the times you don't actually need the extra unit.
Wow.
The extra unit isn't that powerful in most cases.
There's the 3-star Trist as well.
Yeah, so this is a very good draw. He's only looking for the Braum right now, and he is missing 1 Blade Master, but you know, doesn't really need to sweat that.
I think he's just hoping for the recurve.
Yeah, he doesn't really need to get the Blade Master that much, actually.
If he can find that recurve off the Raptors in the next carousel, he's got the Blade Master Jinx.
He is on 25 HP, so he's in a pretty precarious position, but I think he's been staying on this HP for quite a while. And this is kind of unlucky for him, because we do see that there are at least 2 players that did go for Gunslingers in their compositions. So Sijin Quanglan is just you know, unfortunately, this is a comp that works very well when no one is contesting you for it. However, if we already saw Xiaozi is also going for the Gunslinger comp, and a lot of people taking the Lucians as well, I have to say Sijin Quanglan just did not steer himself very well. Steering is the most important thing to getting a good rank, and what it means is basically you want to avoid compositions that a lot of people are going for. You have to recognize that some comps that really require you to hit 3-star units, they are terrible when people are going for them. So honestly, a lot of times in solo queue, you're going to find what I call hostage takers, who are players that are actually slower on the curve than you, but they still want to go the same comp. And they hard roll for critical pieces on your composition. And both of you die because of it. That's just the nature of a lot of times.
I've been that person so many times. I'm like, look, I know I'm behind 40 HP, but if I just get this 1 unit, I just get this 1.
And there's like 2 gunslingers ahead of you. Don't be a hostage taker, okay? Be a logical person. Unfortunately, bad steering here, so I do expect Sijin Quanglan to drop out relatively soon. We are seeing a very good Evelynn build right here.
Yeah, but the problem for Yuan Yuan right now is he's lost all the steam that he got from having those 3-star 1 costs. They carried him so far, especially the Nidalee, but now we're seeing they're getting run over by these compositions that have stronger scaling into the late game. So he doesn't have the Gnar, he doesn't have the Swain, he doesn't have the big heavy hitters.
That's always the problem when you are going for kind of the kind of the Zoo composition, the mid game can be quite rough. You're not sure what you want to go for. If you don't hit the Gnar, you don't really have that strong with mid game. But he's in a very good economic position. So I think the way he's going to play this out is he's going to be, hitting 7 and then rolling for those strong core pieces. If you want to get the Gnar, it's a 15% chance roll when you hit 7 compared to 3% when you had 5.
He should be able to hit it next round. He's already got the 4-loss streak, already got 50 gold sitting on, and only he's going to need to level 3 times next level.
Yep, and to be looking at his comp right now, it does look like he's going to be going for the 6 Zoo Transformer plus 4 Demon type of composition. So he also should be looking for a Demon, not just one more Demon later on. Currently, we do see him with just kind of a sub-in Hex Tech right here.
So we got that Jace.
He's going to have another GA, and he's probably not going to throw that one out just yet.
I want to watch what he's able to find on these rerolls, because he really needs to find his way back into this game. The Shyvana's available. He's looking maybe.
I really wish they show you the HP bars.
There's a Swain.
Oh,
he's just going to pivot to Divins, I think.
Hit the Swain?
He did.
Oh, that's great for him. That's the hardest piece to hit.
He's selling. He's happy with those rolls.
Okay, he's probably selling his Camille's right now. So we are looking at Ramian right now, the Zoo composition that we were talking about. And he does get the swing with the GA. Wow, so damn powerful.
Oh, GA Dragon's Claw. Where's he going to put the Archangel? Archangel on a Gnar. All right, so he really wants that to turn fast. Is Swain going to be able to survive? He is, but there's a red buff on him. It's the one thing that's going to counter this composition is that red buff.
Oh, but he does get the hit onto the Jinx. That's only a 1-star Jinx.
That 1-star Jinx is popping off, though. The Gnar's in a whole lot of trouble. The Jinx is still healthy because of that BT. There's no healing reduction from Yin, so there's not a whole lot he can do. Shyvana not tanky enough. Maybe the Nidalee can finally pop off, but there is so much health left on the side.
The Nid's got it. The Nid's got it.
Finally, the Nidalee's back to carrying.
Yeah, Nidalee is just so damn powerful, and it is the red buff like we were talking about early on. This meta is still very heavily dominated by AD carries, so you're going to see a lot of Draven and Jinx be the main carries for compositions. Red buff is an absolute must in that one, and this is our first place runner in Ayue, but he's not doing so hot right now. He's got all of his pieces already done.
Sork Brawler, it looks like?
Yep, he did hit the spatula. So the difference in this comp is if you hit the spatula, you can finish your comp at 7 rather than 8. So that's good for him. And right now he's looking for some other Jinxes to kind of fill out his comp, get that Hex Tech online as well. But he's going to have a hard time against the enemy composition right here. The problem for him is that his backline really doesn't do enough damage at this point. Just the Cho'Gath, even though that's going to be a true damage hit, it's not enough to really wipe away the enemy comp. And against Zoo, a lot of times you do need red buffs to kind of power through their healing, especially on the Nidalee.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult to deal with.
I don't Morello's is on the Ari too.
Yeah, and also Demon has really killed a lot of the Brawler Sword compositions, just because Demon can make sure that a lot of times your Cho'Gath is not going to be able to use his abilities. The mana burn is there.
That's the thing. The Cho'Gath is just there to get his ultimate off.
Yeah.
So the demons just automatically counter him and doesn't have a whole lot to work with at this point.
This comp is an old tier SS, but in these days, like even without assassins, you can feel that he's kind of lacking some power. He's trying to hit some Aurelion Souls as well, so he's probably going to have to sell something in his backline. You can see him deciding between the Aurelion Soul or the Jinx first.
I don't know if I like 3-starring that Camille here. Just keeping it in the composition at this point.
Yeah, he's just doing for the Hex Tech. He does see a lot of overstacked champions these days, so he's going to go for that. And I will say something very interesting is that the Gunslinger composition is actually a great counter into the Transformers, but unfortunately the Hush did not get enough rolls. The Shyvana still transformed, and that might mean goodbye for Sishing Quangluan.
The Shyvana, the Nidalee, the Elise, the Hush, and the red buff were looking so good, but doesn't look like it was good enough. Lucian's going to run away as best he can. Barely surviving.
He's still there. Yeah,
he's still up.
That's the thing about the Gunslinger comp is a lot of times you really want double Hushes. Double Hushes actually shuts down Transformers quite well. Unfortunately for him, didn't get the lucky rolls he needed. It's a 50% chance to silence targets, but just didn't hit it.
Looks like he's going to be trying to find the item to keep him in the game. Another spatula. We have found so many spatulas this game on these carousels. Usually you don't find this many, but it's giving us a lot of compositional variety.
So right now it does seem like Coleman would be our front runner. Just taking a look at his items right now, he is going for the double Hush and with the Gunslingers as well. I wouldn't say his items are great. I have to say that because he's been so healthy, his items are actually pretty meh. We have to mention that if Coleman takes first place, he will overtake Aya, who is our current front runner, and just be the grand winner, the grand finals winner here.
Deciding what to do with a low econ. There's not a whole lot you can choose. Maybe going to sell the Lulu. I don't.
Yeah, he doesn't need the extra Sork. He doesn't really need the extra Sork. He's just thinking about maybe keeping his front line alive longer.
Still got the Zephyr. And he's going to sell it, give the Zephyr to the Ahri over there. I assume he's also going to sell the Ahri at some point now.
Yeah, typically you do sell the Ahri and you go for the Aurelion Souls. Now, the Ahri is still pretty good against comps with dragons, just because she does do true damage. But you also have the Cho'Gath to do that as well. And unfortunate right here, we do see the Cho'Gath being rolled down because of that Curse Blade from Allah, and down Aya goes, our front runner. That means he will no longer be first place. He was at 7.7 points. Someone is going to be crowned a new champion. It's not going to be the guy from semifinals.
Yep, Yuanian in a lot of trouble as well, and it looks like some of the people we were thinking were going to be behind in the early game have made it through, and I'm surprised at how healthy Allah has been able to remain. But that demon composition has just been so strong for him. He picked up another Evelyn after having sold his first one. And he just tossed a frozen heart on it.
And we do have the Noble comp here, and this is going to be 6 Transformers. He didn't hit any Aurelion Souls.
But he did hit a 3-star Jace.
That is true. 3-star Jace.
He's got 4 3-stars.
So 3-star Jace is great. Is very underrated for his crowd control potential, and I think he's actually provides you a very good early start. He starts with 50 mana as well.
He's
so
just
you
going to
can see
knock
him
out
right
the
now.
Sejuani.
Yeah.
Oh, target focus change from the Evelyn.
He should still be able to win this quite comfortably. This is going to be a mirror image he's against.
This is before they have the synergies and everything, so don't get yourself too excited about how that matchup went.
I actually really like what Coleman is doing right here, because Coleman's composition, essentially he did not hit any critical items, but he's still keeping that 1-star Lucian on his board just to get extra hushes. So a very smart play. He's playing around the fact that he's keeping his HP bar very high, and because of that, he's not getting the items he wants in Carousel.
That is a really unfortunate dragon pick up there.
Oof, yeah.
That is so unlucky.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see.
The Ionic Spark, though, is fantastic.
Oh my god, look at Coleman. He's hit the BT.
Yeah.
That has to be the luckiest one
Toss
here.
that on the Draven, you've got yourself a carry.
Yep. So going over the compositions, I believe we saw, so it's Coleman on the top with a pretty scattered compositions. He still has his gunslingers and double hushes up there. And going on
He's just going for one of everything.
Yeah.
He's going for the Noah's Ark composition, just
I
two
like
of a
this from
kind.
Coleman. So Coleman definitely knows he has 6 points from the previous round, so he just wants to get a good standing there. And he also has a chance to hit first with 44 HP right now as well. On the bottom side, we are seeing potential. This looks like a setup for a bottom right-hand corner. Does look like a setup for potentially hitting a Kale and going down to the down to Nobles.
Yasuo's a pretty good hit if he wants that Blade Master, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to find it. Yuanian, potentially the last stand for both these players here, actually.
Yep. Triple Blade Masters, makings of a Nobles composition, but with no Kale. His Draven's going to do work here. Does have the Imperial buff, so some good turn of luck right there. The only question is, can anyone deal with that Nidalee? Doesn't look like it.
No. That Leona was nutty, too. Got off so many ultimates, but just not enough to save him.
Yeah, that's the problem with trying to go for Kale. Sometimes you just don't hit the champion.
Now at this point, we've got 3 players left on the field, and this is where patch 9.16 hurts, because you're just hoping you end up against the Ghost.
Yeah, that's true. And we do have to say congratulations to Coleman. He's most likely going to get the top place here because he's the only one out of the top 4 still alive.
Wow.
From the semifinals.
All right. We'll hold ourselves together until the actual math is done at the end of the tournament, but Coleman in a very, very healthy position. If he gets top 2 here, I'm pretty sure he's guaranteed to take it.
Yep. A good hit onto the Yasuo, and I like the placement of the Nidalee right into the side, so no one's going to be able to hit her. She's also on the same side with the Vi, so that means that the Vi will not auto-target her. She's going to get a lot of auto-attack time. Great Gnar stun right there. And no red buffs, so it does look like this Swain is going to be very uncontested. But
he's just getting DPS down, though.
Wow.
I don't know about that one.
He still has the GA. He still has. Oh no, never mind.
Yuanian in a lot of trouble. Gets knocked out. Coleman top 2. That's pretty much the tournament right there. But it's between him and Allah for the last one. And this This is where a lot of new players never get to, which is where you care about positioning. Because I know I didn't get there for my first like 20 games. I died too early for it to matter, but now this is where you need to make sure your front line is hitting the right people and you're getting hit right. Get the split screen here.
So we have Ala with Demon Knights here, and on the bottom side we do have. So I like both of these compositions. Because they're quite elective. They're not you know, your standard S tier compositions. This is kind of a transformation from the 4 Knight, 4 Demon, 4 Imperial type of composition. He obviously didn't hit the Swains, so he's just going for putting some Hextech and Gunslingers in there as well because of the Hushes. So really smart transitioning from him, and it does look like he got a very lucky Hextech roll, but unfortunately the Evelyn's going to take down the Draven.
That positioning was really unfortunate, and this might be Ala just taking the game here.
Look
That's
at that shield. Wait a minute.
Whoa, wait, never mind. You're right, Clement.
Goodbye.
Doesn't matter for the Evelyn. She's going to be able to take him out. But Kwangman still in it at this point. Final carousel coming out. Another Hush!
So just looking at the items right here, I wouldn't mind another BT. He does need to beef up his Draven. His Draven isn't... I just don't think he has enough damage on his comp right now.
Please pick up the other Hush. Please.
I think he's going to go for BT. Yeah, BT's going to be the standard answer.
That's no fun. I was going to call it the shut up composition.
Hey, he's got it this far. I actually really love the way he's transitioned into this place. And we have to remember he is the point runner, front runner right now. And just based on the points, he actually has this on lockdown. This is just for pride at this point.
He's not selling the Yasuo, though. So he's not even going to equip the Bloodthirster. I think he's maybe trying to roll for the 2-star at this point.
That would be hilarious if he actually rolls for 2-star.
Don't do it, man.
You're going to lose Gunslingers.
Don't do it.
Lose Gunslingers. No, not worth it. Not worth it.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Scared ourselves a little bit there.
Yeah.
Potential last round coming out here. Hextech lands onto 2 at this point.
Okay, so I would do a small criticize right here, and it's that his he didn't really position against the Brand very well. A lot of times when you see this positioning, but it does seem like it doesn't matter. He's going to win anyway. The BT on the Jinx, keeping her alive through all of that. Very important.
This game is going to go late.
Yeah, both of these guys are on very good economies, so they can still roll a lot.
These rounds are close enough that the damage isn't going to be significant, so we may actually see the pivot into the 4 Imperial composition. He's been thinking about it since last round, but Kwangman, he's going to place it in.
Oh, there we go. He's going for the...
This is risky. Oh, no, he's swapping it out. It is very risky.
He's going for Blade Masters with the Imperial as well. He's thinking about the potential. That is a lot of damage if you can get Blade Masters plus Imperials. Now, a small trick that for all of you out there, if you're going Imperials, you don't pick up the Katarina until you hit the Swain. Please remember that, okay? I've seen so many people die because
just have 9 gold wasted on the bench.
Oh, wow. That Yasuo is doing work. Luden's Yasuo is so damn powerful.
That Assassin Morgana not doing quite as much work. Hopefully the Varus ult will be good. Nice. Yasuo might just be able to 1v3 at this point. And he's going to be able to take out Eve, I think.
Oh!
What? All right.
No way! The Evelyn! Oh, man, that Frozen Heart, so damn useful on the Evelyn.
This is where you start getting, like, cold sweats, and you start really fearing for your life, because it's just like, I don't know what's going wrong, and it's so minute every time that it's so incredibly difficult to fix, and every single change matters at this point. But let's see what the Rift Herald brought.
So what we're seeing right now is the fact that the Hextech hit is incredibly important. So when we've seen the Hextech hit on the bottom left of Ala's composition, the left side just completely collapses. You know, you see the Yasuo just power through that entire comp. However, if it hits the right side, I actually think it's worse for him because he loses all of his DPS. So he's stuck in a kind of a no-win situation. And what's funny is the Hextech actually, I believe it doesn't take away synergies, but it does take away your potential to like jump into the comp. So I don't think we saw the Morgana actually jump forward.
This is getting real risky because both players... Oh, actually, I think that's going to be a roll down from both players.
Yeah, we're seeing the 4 Imp come out.
There's a level up for Imperial, as you said.
4 Imp, and he's probably going to go Blade... Does he have the Blade Masters? 1 Blade Master, 2 Blade Master. He only has 2 Blade... Oh, 3 Blade Master. Yes, he does have the 3 Blade Master.
Nice. Now, can Ala find the last hit he needs of that Morgana to get it 3-star? He found it. All right, there's a 3-star Morgana.
3-star Assassin Morgana.
Yikes. That's something you don't see.
Okay, if he doesn't get hit by the Hextech here, that's going to be huge. Let's see if he... Oh, okay, where is this Hextech going? Who is it going to get?
He's got it.
It only hits the
into the back line. As soon as that ult pops, that is going to hurt.
He gets the Jinx as well.
Insta-burst there. The Hush going to land on the Eve. It doesn't matter. That should just be the game. This Yasuo, you cannot 1v6 At that point, Coleman gets out. Ala takes the #1 here in the game.
Congratulations to Ala with that 3-star Morgana, breaking the dreams and the hearts of all of those Demon players in that 8-player pod. Well done. But like we said, Coleman, because he was in the 3rd place position with 6 points, he will still take the final champion. I love the way he transitioned right there. You know, he knew he was ahead on points, so he kept his HP up and then went for items that are, I wouldn't say contested at all. He went for tier and magic resistance.
Right.
Those items you can just pick up any day. He kept a lot of 1-star gunslingers around just to keep that hush proc going. He killed the Zoo player because of it, and that was just such a brilliant way to play given the points and given his agenda.
It's really fun to see as well, because a lot of times when you have compositions in the meta, what's happening?
So Ala took the championship?
You're sure it's not the game?
Okay, so they're saying that they're saying that he did win the game.
Okay,
not the championship.
Not the championship.
I was just kind of
giving me a heart attack here, Clement.
Because Ala was in 5th place, so he wasn't in, or maybe did he have 6 points as well? I might be a little bit confused.
There were
there
were 3 tied for 2.
3 tied for 2. Oh. So Ala, I might actually have won that.
英雄联盟周年庆的狂欢盛典，其实大家都是成功者，都是各大平台当中最优秀的云顶高手。那这一次成功吃鸡之后，阿乐有什么样的就是能够把云顶这一玩好的秘诀？
So we're having some questions for Ala right now. Do you have any suggestions on how to play TFT?
玩好蜜月就多烧香，积积德。
So, Allah just says, just pray to the gods more. Play to RNG Jesus.
Amen to that.
This is a game that is very reliant on luck. There's no escaping that fact. We will have more TFT tournaments offline. Do you have any words about the joy that TFT has brought you? Okay, so we're actually just cutting that question. We're going straight to the award ceremony. Oh, okay. So excuse me, Ala did actually. Oh, he did win the championship. Yeah, even though he only had 5 points. Yeah. Oh, I was only looking at the 6s. We didn't have the bracket beforehand, so I had kind of a lot of problems getting the points down. But congratulations to Ala, taking it by 1 point. Wow, a real comeback win.
So impressive as well.
Yes.
Watching that trend from start to finish, because a lot of times people think about, you know, those hard force compositions where you have to take that early when you can win it late. The strength of having a composition that starts out early and you keep winning is you get to do those pivots. You get to stay alive.
True top players, they don't stick purely to S-tier compositions. They actually make their own adaptation based on the game state. And that was really smart. You rarely see Knights being thrown into a demon composition. He went for the very strong mid-game of a Phantom composition with the Mordekaiser and the early Karthus, which was a bit of luck. We have to admit that. If you hit a Karthus that early, it's a bit of luck. But it was really smart to put those 2 in and have that Sword Demon composition with a bit of spice.
So fun to watch, and we saw that coming out from both Ala and Kongman, demonstrating how they got to the top of this tournament.
Adaptation is key in all of these things. You can't stick to the book when you're going for these tournaments. Like, the true master class of players will move themselves around. They will take away key champions from you. It's going to be very difficult. And he just held on to his Morganas. He killed so many demon players because of that Morgana.
It's just like, I'm going to stick to this. I know this is good. And I'm going to keep on also selling the Eve early, bringing it back later, never getting stuck in any one composition until the very last round.
Yeah, really smart pivots, really smart transitions. A lot of times in the late game, it is about taking away stuff from your opponents. Like, if you hold on to a tier 5 champion, then actually, mathematically, it takes away about 12 gold from your opponent because he has to reroll for that champion. So a very smart way to kind of play that comp. I really think that if you look at our frontrunner, who's Yao, he really got destroyed because of how many sorcerers were being taken away right there. It's like, okay, I've got no Karthus, the Zoo guy's taking away my Aurelion souls, and I just don't have any backline damage.
And Yuan as well, one of the traps that a lot of newer players, myself included, will fall into is that you say, okay, I have this composition, I know this composition does well, I hit the 3-star early. Well, I'm just staying this composition. And yeah, that works out a lot of times, but what we saw happen to Yuan was, yeah, he stuck with the composition. He had that stack Nidalee, but he wasn't able to make it work against the later game flexible compositions coming in from Ala and Kongman.
Yeah, that late game from him, a lot of times what you see with the Zoo Transformer comp, if you don't hit the Gnar earlier on, is you really do lack backline access. And that's kind of the problem there. We did see that the AoE stun from the Sejuani was actually enough, and that's just so damn smart from Ala. You rarely see Demon Knights, you know? Yeah. Demon Knights is just such kind of in-the-middle composition, but it was great for him to do that. And I want to kind of say a couple of things about the way way Coleman actually also played that. These guys who had points building up, a lot of the times what they did was they actually destroyed other people's compositions to keep themselves in the running. They were holding on to both the Jinx and the Draven early on just to deny that from other compositions. And that's just the power. If you have enough points built up from other series, you can do that within the game itself. So that adds an extra layer to all of these calculations. And I love that we got the chance to showcase all the type of mental states, all the different decisions that the players are making within a TFT bracket.
Yeah, we got to do the first TFT coming out here.
It's really fun.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of fun, and we're hoping we're going to have some more, because up next is going to be the Gauntlet Finals, where either Invictus Gaming or Top Esports decide if they're going to make it to Worlds. After the break, you'll get exactly that.